Hello, sweet friend. My name is Micah, and in this video, I want to share with you my August pages in my Hobonichi A6 daily journal. I've started daily journaling 2 months ago in July with the Avec, and yeah, I'm having a really good time, especially this month. It was just really fun. I've been quite enjoying myself, trying different things out. Before we get into the daily pages, I want to share with you my monthly overview. Every day I just did a little doodle sort of representing the main event of the day or the main emotion of the day. And yeah, I quite like how this turned out. I did something similar in July, just a different style, more line-based, and then this month I decided to draw silhouettes with a Tombow marker and then go in with a ballpoint pen to add black details. And yeah, it's really cute. The drawings are so tiny, which makes them quite adorable. And at first I thought this was gonna be more of an exercise in drawing, sort of figuring out how to draw something so small but still iconic. But now I've started to feel like this is actually more helpful in a memory keeping sort of way. It's really fun to see the month condensed like that, and I've noticed that there are certain things. So for example, here we were doing a garage clean out, and I drew my bike, which had a spider web on it, which I was kind of shocked by. It's like, oh no, I haven't used my bike in so long that it has spider webs on it. And it feels so much longer ago, but it was all in August. So yeah, just quite an enjoyable exercise, and it's really, yeah, really impactful in a way that I hadn't anticipated. So I'm definitely gonna stick with that, with this sort of doodle a day in the monthlies. But then let's jump to the daily pages, which is just so fun. And so here we have August 1st and 2nd. This is actually a journal with me video. I'll have that linked that you can check out. We started the month by going on a trip to Ikea, and so I just drew the things we bought. Let me zoom you in just a little bit more so you can see more of the details. And then I did some really basic doodles of me and my husband looking at some of the patterns for the bed linens. Unfortunately, all of the ones that we liked were sold out, but yeah, so just sort of did a collection of things we bought, and then on this day I took a walk to the library, and then I drew the books that I picked up. And then here we have a mixture of stickers and some doodles. This is a ginger ale that's local here. I tried to draw the bottle. I don't know how effective that was. I think something's off with the values. I was trying to really depict sort of that it is glass, but I think I have to work on that some more. But I've been really enjoying trying things out, almost using this as both a journal as well as a sketchbook, and just trying things out. And then that's kind of fun. Another thing I did in August was every week I went to the local Humane Society once a week to help out. If you're unfamiliar with the Humane Society, they run animal shelters here in the US, and so I helped out, and this was my first day, and I put in the name tag there. And then yeah, this, I really like how this turned out. This is just sort of inspired by, you know how Facebook sometimes shows you memories or photos you posted 6 or even 10 years ago? And so Facebook told me that I'd posted this photo of our family dog 10 years ago, and so she was still such a puppy. So cute. And so I just took that opportunity to dedicate this spread to her, and yeah, it's just quite cute. It also shows that just because these are daily pages, it doesn't mean that you can't also take something that is older if you've just been reminded of something on that day, you know. That's kind of a fun connection. And either way, once you you know, pick this back up in 5 years or 10 years or however long, it's going to be fun to be reminded of things that aren't necessarily from that day, but just reminded of any memory, if that makes sense. So I've been really liking doing things like this. And then this was me building my shelves that I had bought at Ikea, and found it quite frustrating because, of course, you know, with something so mass manufactured, sometimes the holes that they drill into the wood don't line up with where the screws need to go in, and it's this whole puzzle piece. And so because it was so frustrating, I put in this meditating cat, because that's where I needed to go mentally in order to finish building my IKEA shelves. So yeah. Oh, and then most of the, I think if not all of the cat ephemera on my pages is from my own printable service, Cat Collage Club. I'll have that linked below and you can check that out. But if you're a cat lover and love creative journaling, then maybe consider checking that out. You get cat-themed journal printables every month, and yeah, it's just kind of fun. Here we have a spread that is doodle based. I just drew out a pasta salad that I tried out that day, and we really enjoyed the recipe. So it's just pasta, peas, sunflower seeds, chickpeas, arugula, and then pesto and mayo, and some salt. Yeah, and it turned out really good. And I like this sort of simple depiction here with just, again, a Tombow marker and some fine liner lines. And I think that's quite effective and really cute. Here on the 8th, we watched the Barbie movie, so I put in the ticket and drew my own interpretation. Wow, that's I never knew that word was so hard to say. Interpretation of Barbie, the sort of classical striped bathing suit Barbie, and just journaled about some thoughts I had based on the movie and based on the sort of general conversation about that movie. There's lots to talk about there, isn't there? And so here we have some more collaging. This window sticker is by Erin Ware. I have a lot of her printables in my journals too. She has a Patreon, and I just really love her art. This was just me journaling about some realizations I've had. Just a reminder to myself that you shouldn't always believe the thoughts that your brain produces. Just because you think it doesn't make it real. Yeah. And then here, that day I was listening to a lot of the Mamma Mia soundtrack, and I don't know, I just really resonated with the lyrics of the song I Have a Dream by ABBA. And so I just took out a quote and yeah, put some color in the background and some flowers and a butterfly, just making it cute. And I've been really getting into doing colorful backgrounds again. I used to do that a lot more in my journals, and I'm not quite sure why I stopped, but yeah, I've been really leaning into that again, and it's so enjoyable on the Tomoe River paper. Like, watercolor and markers activate so nicely on the page. Like, you have time to really blend colors together, which I found is a little harder on Midori paper. Again, Midori paper is also very nice and it takes watercolor really well, but I feel like it dries faster, and so you're more likely to get a streaky result especially if you use marker, like you just do scribbles with marker and then activate it with water. If you're interested in learning how to make some doodle flowers like these, I recorded a tutorial this month on how to draw some of these doodle flowers. I'll have that linked as well. Yeah, more just really embracing the colorful backgrounds. Really love the color palette of these two spreads. And then again, more doodle flowers and some cute girly here. And then, yeah, more Erin Ware art. I'm surprised how slim, no, not slim, I don't know if slim is the right word, but just how flat the pages still are. I mean, I put a lot of water on there. Yeah, that's quite amazing. Yeah, and another just simple page with a quote that came to mind. Oh, well, actually, this is kind of funny. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but I thought of this. The lesson of fairy tales is not that dragons exist, but that they can be conquered. And then a day later, I was like, I think that's a quote by someone. So I tried Googling it, and it didn't quite come up. But then I realized it's because the phrasing of the actual quote is a little different. And there's actually two people who've said similar things. So here I was thinking I came up with something super smart, but actually I was just putting my own wording onto quotes by very, very smart people who I've definitely heard those quotes before. So I should make a note or a reference to those quotes, so once I go back through it, I don't forget that. Yeah, more Erin Ware art and a dual flower. I use a lot of Tombow markers, but then some of these colors are also Crayola Super Tips, and I feel like for the price you're getting a really good marker. Something that's a little annoying about Crayola Super Tips is that one, the cap color doesn't necessarily perfectly represent the color that the marker is, so I would suggest swatching it out first. And a lot of the colors are very saturated and very pigmented and bright, so I like supplementing it with Tombow markers just simply because it's a little bit more muted sometimes. Oh yeah, here we have just some pictures of my niece. She's growing up so fast and she's such a cutie, so whenever my sister sends me pictures of her, I like to include them either in my daily journal or in my 5-year journal. I think the right side on my 5-year journal, most of the pictures I've included this year have been from my niece growing up. And then it was my sister's birthday, so I tipped in this photo of us from, I think, 2015. Yeah, so it's been a while, but it's one of those pictures that I still really love because it shows how goofy we can be together. And I really like that about our relationship, and so I thought that might be nice to include. Again, similar with the dog picture, just really embracing any memory is good, and it doesn't matter if it's from that day or if you've just been reminded of it or made some sort of association. Yeah, and then just journaled about my sister. Here, that was a day where I did a lot of grocery shopping, so I used this cat that's from the September Cat Collage Club collage collection. Here we have another day with the dogs at the animal shelter, and I actually looked up the dog days of summer because I've heard that phrase before, and so I finally wanted to know what it means, and it refers to a specific time period, and actually on the 18th it was already over, but since I'm still working with the dogs at the animal shelter, I still called it the dog days of summer. But yeah, it has something to do with the hottest period in the year. But anyway, it's a little esoteric, I guess. But and then here we have one of the dogs that I helped bathe, Champion. Isn't he the cutest? He's such a sweet dog. And then I also said hi to the cats at the shelter. And there was this cute kitty named Pepsi, and she was so sweet, and we played like together, and so cute. So yeah, that's nice. And then here we have just some book covers of books that I want to check out. I've been really getting back into storytelling research, which is something that I'm really, really fascinated by, and I love researching fairy tales, and so I found all of these fun books that I want to check out, so I glued them in. And then here I was trying, I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up. I don't think so. This is a glitter fountain pen ink. It's Queen and Castle by Ferris Wheel Press, and I wanted to see what it would be like to make a background with it, similar with what I've been doing with the watercolor and the markers. And I'm not sure if that's it. I mean, maybe it's also the color is so dark, but it seems very solid and blobby. I'm not sure, but I really wanted to the shimmer though, because I felt like that would go well with the sort of fairy tale subject matter. But yeah, and because it was so much ink, it did bleed through to the other side. But it goes well with the colors that I already had on the page, so in this instance I just got a little lucky. But yeah, that's something to maybe play around with. I guess I could try and dilute it with water a little bit and then use a brush and apply it, but we'll see. Yeah, this Sunday was just working and drawing on the couch, so I drew, I guess, a representation of myself, even though I don't have black hair and these are not the colors of the couch, but I've realized that that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me personally when I flip through to have that spot on. I'd rather have fun with the colors and make it into something that I enjoy in the moment and that I enjoy looking at. And so I take creative liberties with that, I suppose. Here I got a fun haul in from Yoseka Stationery. I had ordered some new washi tapes. This is a Mina, I think it's Mina, no, it's MT, but I think it's Mina Pohonen, the Flutter washi tape. So, yeah, this is the washi tape. I think it's Mina Pohonen by MT. So cute. The fun thing about this tape is that not only does it look fun if you just roll it out in a strip, but you can also break off individual flowers, which is kind of fun. And then this William Morris tape, and then two new little kita, I don't know how you say it, but these little, you know how you get these little, almost like a matchbook kind of design, and then they're single strips like that. Really fun. Something I've noticed is I'm leaning more into blues. Usually blue is not really my favorite color, but I've been really gravitating towards it, so that's a new development. And then I got myself a Pilot Kakuno in extra fine. This is a sort of beginner fountain pen by Pilot, super inexpensive, but I wanted to try out and see how much I would like the extra fine nib, and so I wanted to have something inexpensive to try it out, and I love it. It's so nice, especially for these like small journals, and I love small journals so much, so I don't know why it has taken me so long to realize that it would be good for me to have a couple finer fountain pens, so I'm definitely looking into getting more fines and extra fine fountain pens. And surprisingly, for $15, this fountain pen is very reliable. The nib is reliable, the ink feeds without any hard starts or skipping. It's quite impressive. So, yeah. So that was very, very fun to receive. Oh, and then I bought this memo pad. Here I'm just noting something that I've realized about drawing these kinds of eyes and faces to make the eyes look a little bit more accurate. Accurate, I think is a good way to describe it. Not loopy, is to make sure that the pupils line up, and they need to line up in perspective. Not to make this into a drawing lesson, but it's kind of fun if you just, if the day in and of itself didn't have a lot of events to write about, well, maybe you noticed something or you learned something, and so you can just journal about that. That's kind of fun. Here we have another food item, food spread. We've been making these veggie sandwiches recently and really enjoying them with just some hummus, arugula, cucumbers, tomatoes, and sprouts. And we really enjoyed that. And then we season it with the Green Goddess seasoning from Trader Joe's, which is really good, with all kinds of veggies. So yeah, it's kind of fun. I think I liked the pasta salad depiction a little bit better with the more limited color palette, but that's all right. And then do you know these kinds of illustrations where things are just sort of taken apart, breaking apart, and like sort of explode in a way, but they're not exploding, they're just pulled apart like that? I was trying to do something like that, and I think I have to study more on how to do that, because I think it gets a little confusing around here, which might also be because the arugula and the cucumbers have the same green. I'm not sure. But yeah, just again, playing around with illustrations and treating it as an ideation, using the journal as an ideation ground to try things out. On that day, that 24th is my birthday, and I had a really fun day with my husband. We went to breakfast at this place that we've been wanting to try out for a while, and it has this really cool, it's in this really cool building, and so I drew out the building, and on the inside it was just so lovely with the way the lighting came in with my husband, and so I took a photo of my husband there, and then afterwards we went thrifting. I like how all the colors go together here. It's quite fun. Really also embracing sort of more simple spreads, but I quite like it. This was, I think that was another day with the animals, yep. And then this was my YouTube video of that Friday, so I tipped in the thumbnail just to have, you know, a photo of me in there and what I was up to. I think that's quite nice to do every now and then. Yeah, here I was trying to figure out, I want to make a storytelling research journal, and so I've been trying out different notebook sizes and what I want to do with that, and I think I'm going to settle with a traveler's notebook standard size. So I drew that out in here. I bought myself some Crayola markers in skin colors. They're called Colors of the World. So I just swatched out a couple of them here and turned them into like little doodly faces. And then my husband and I went to a bookshop and just browsed some books. Made that kind of like a little illustration there. That day I was just drawing a lot, so drew that out. And then we had a cricket sitting right outside our bedroom window, and man, those things are so loud, and it's such a piercing sound. It woke us up several times that night and the next night, and I think it finally moved on to a different spot because we haven't heard it in the last night. But yeah, that is quite something. And then on this day I finished up my collage sheets for September, so I put 2 of the designs in just to again remind myself what happened. And then here is something that I've been playing around with, where you just put some sort of impressionistic color blobs on your page first, and then you take a transparent black and white sticker and put it over top. I quite like the effect. Kind of fun, just something to play around with. And then here again, just using the journal also as a playground for trying stuff out. I've been really into what is called or referred to as negative painting in watercolor, where you do a first layer of a lot of different colors, and then you go in with a darker color and sort of outline around the motif. And so you get all these fun colors within your subject. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job of explaining that, and probably you would have to do a lot more layers to really get that sort of shifting color effect. But I wanted to be careful with with the because this is not watercolor paper. This is the Hobonichi Tomori River paper, but yeah, still playing around with the ideas and the effects that you can get, and just testing the waters a little bit. And that was just a spread about, I've noticed that my mental health has just improved over the last couple of weeks, and so I wanted to journal about that a little bit, and yeah, just making a little soft illustration that goes with that journaling. And then we already reached the end of August. This was another day with the animals at Humane Society, this time focusing more on the cats. And so I took a bunch of pictures of the cats too, but I ended up deciding to draw one of them just with lines, and then pair it with one of the stickers from the September collage sheets, and did again color first and then put the transparent black and white sticker up top. And really cute. And then here I'm ready for my September goals. I just already decorated it. Something I've noticed, because I stuck this sticker on first and then I did the watercolor on this page, the water activated the printer ink from the sticker, and so it bled onto this page, or transferred onto that page. I was able to wet this and take it off a little bit, but the sticker is obviously still damaged. So that's something to be mindful of when using water and stickers like this, is that you can transfer ink and activate printer ink, because obviously printer ink is not waterproof. Yeah, I've done a similar thing with my August sheet, where I just wrote out not just goals, but I almost set an intention for the month. I do have a word of the year, and I've started to break it down for the month and play around with how I feel about that, if it makes me motivated. And so far it's been really great, and so I'm going to do the same thing for September, and I can share with you in my other creative journal. I've started journaling about what I think that will be, and just deciding on a word. And I think for September it's going to be the word stretch. And so yeah, I'm going to keep you updated on that, but so far that's been a really good use of this introductory monthly page. And that is it for this flip through. I hope I was able to give you some inspiration for your own journaling, or give you some spread ideas of what you could try out. And I'm just happy you shared this time with me, and we will see or hear each other next Friday with another journaling video. And until next time, happy journaling!